Welcome back to Oh No More Lemmings! It's time to tackle the third difficulty level out of 5, Wild! And now it's time for... How am I even supposed to pronounce this? Pop your top! How am I supposed to pronounce mix, caps lock, as small character? What the hell are you going on about, Wild difficulty? I don't like the way you're starting. But yeah, this level is going to make you pop your top, because you're probably gonna look at your skill set and you'll be like, holy shit, I have to spam a shitload of bombers in order to get all the way down here, but no. The thing that you have to do here is to group all of your lemmings together, which can be done by building over the little sets of bubbles, and this way we can gather all of our lemmings in one single container. And now it's time to mine our way down in order to make it to the end of this level. The interesting thing with this level is that while it makes you believe you have to use a shitload of bombers in order to get to the end of this level, it's a bad idea because you only can afford 7 casualties, so it's not like you can go hog wild with bombers and destroy your way through this level. In fact, we made it through this entire level without using a single bomber, so all in all, yeah, nice trick, but I'm not falling for it game. And we are truly off to a totally excellent start. Also, welcome to Lemming Hotel, the most cold place that you'll ever visit during your entire lifetime. So this level is pretty self-explanatory for the most part. It doesn't seem all that bad because you have a very wide array of skills for this level, all in pretty acceptable quantities. With that said, however, you need to watch out because it's not all that happy and sunshine going on here. You barely have enough builders in order to make this level, so you better not waste any of your supplies. In fact, some of the building that you're gonna have to do in this level will be outright nasty because you need to make sure that whenever you'll build, you're not going to go back to the left because, well, you're gonna fall in the hole, and in order to steer yourself back in the right track, you'll have to use another builder, and that probably is going to make you lose a level. So make sure that you do not hit anything whenever you build, so make sure to start building early. Even then, I really don't like the situation that I have going right now because collision is imminent, unless I stop building soon. Oh my god, that was really close. One more step and that will have been total failure, or at least I will have wasted a very valuable builder. Whoops, and here I could have afforded to start building a whole lot later because, yeah, I came a couple of tiles short. This could have been avoidable, but we'll deal with it. But now I'm not really afforded to do any mistakes because I'm gonna need 3 builders and I have 4 in order to make it through. So why do I need 3 builders? Well, you probably have noticed, but just in the likelihood that, well, you still haven't figured it out, well, recall the last... Oh no, fuck, I started building too late, and now... Yeah, some of you might be thinking, well, it seems as if you've won the level, but yeah, you better take another look. Yep. It goes again with this one trick. It pulled it off in level 20 of Crazy, but here it is again just in case that, well, you somehow didn't get to level 20 of Crazy and you decided to go straight to the Wild difficulty. So, alright, let's do this again. Oh my god! Yeah, sometime the basher is very treacherous because the basher might still be going on, but you need to assign the skill way later, and it's never clear whenever you can assign it and make it so that everything will be smooth sailing. Alright, we finally prepared the path. Even though this is a pretty straightforward level for the most part, it's still pretty treacherous, so it's very easy to fuck up. With that said, you only need to rescue 60 lemmings out of 80, but if you fail to establish the road properly toward the end, it doesn't really matter because I don't think you can really afford to send other people down to the fray. Maybe you could, like, bomb your blocker and then send somebody else in order to finish the job, and you'd still have plenty of lemmings left because, hey, you've got a fine display of lemming control here. And now it's time for Lemming Rhythms. Are you ready to feel the rhythm of doing very precarious building? This is one of these levels once again. I've never been really good in order to devise a proper road for this one level, or at least one that will work in the versions of the game like that don't have directional building and all of the nice features that makes Lemming a shitload more fun to play. So yeah, we need to send one Lemming over here, but right here we're probably gonna be doomed to restart because I definitely built my ramp way too far ahead, and well, this is gonna make it so that I'm not gonna be able to build up the next set of ramp that is over here. But first of all, we gotta link this ramp over here, because what we're going to do is, well, we send this Trailblazer Lemming, and then with the Lemmings on top, we start digging down and then bash right. Doing this on the Amiga or the PC is complete nightmare, by the way, and we failed because we don't have any more builders in order to do this level, because we still had 4 more gaps to go through and I had 4 builders, so yep. It's kind of like that living on the edge level that there was on the taxing difficulty in the original game, but here things are a little bit meaner because you have a lot of precise building that needs to be done, and afterwards you're gonna need to do a very precise bash and dig that is going to work out in order to get all of your other Lemmings to the end of the level. I mean, maybe in the situation that I have right now on the Amiga you will be able to do it, because now all my Lemmings are just going to meld together into a gigantic pile, but yeah, you don't always get this luck. Now, even though our bridge barely got to the platform, we still need to build the bridge a little higher, because otherwise you're not gonna get to the platform. I guess it's this way in order to persuade you to turn back, in order to build the ramp that leads to the starting platform, because this is how we're gonna get all of the other Lemmings here. We're certainly not gonna get them above or anything, but yeah, this is harder because, as you've noticed, we don't have any bombers, so we can't clear her blockers. And right now I kind of fucked up the entire thing, so now my Lemmings are just gonna become a gigantic, massive mess. So, alright. It's time to hold that right arrow key in order to make sure that our digger will go right whenever he'll start bashing. And oops, that was kind of a bad timing in order to start the digger, because my Lemmings are still not out of the hatch and they're falling in the hole that I'm currently digging. So yeah, if we're not careful, this may end up in having Lemming splat, but it didn't happen here, thankfully. Also, yeah, that's a shitload of Lemmings. Yep, 72 Lemmings over my tiny cursor. And here we go. Doing this level on the Amiga or PC or any other version that doesn't have fine control is definitely going to be a big challenge. It might require a few attempts in order to get right, but with any more modern port of this game, it's definitely going to work out pretty well. So I'm not entirely sure where the rhythm part was in this level, but hey, we prevail and that is all that matters. With that said, it's time for our meeting to be adjourned. This level can be a real pain in the ass depending on the version of the game that you have once again, because on the PC version, it becomes really hard to get this level to work out properly, or at least it will be if we didn't have the required tools at hand. But yeah, we have to save everyone, and we're gonna try to avoid using blockers if possible, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna dig between the 2 trees, and assign the Lemming that will fall down in the hole that's been dug a climber as he's gonna walk left. And in order to do that, you hold the right mouse button, because on the Amiga this makes it so that it will force the game to assign the skill to a walker, so it's not gonna assign the skill to your digger, which is not going to benefit from this skill at all. With that said, if he did get a climber, it will not fuck up anything, but it will make it harder for you to assign the skill to the proper Lemming. But you have 2 climbers, so at least it's got that going for. Everything is still going to work out in a good way, so don't panic too much about it. And once you're past this initial hurdle, because that's definitely the harder point of the level to figure out how to split your Lemmings and make it so that they're not gonna come with you whenever you're building the rest of the level, yeah, after that, the rest of the level is straightforward enough. It's just build, build, and build in order to get to the end. With that said, you don't have a whole lot of spare builders, so you better build your ramps properly. Alright, so you better hurry up. Yeah, you can tell we're only gonna have one spare builder at the end of this level, so depending on how you do this level, you may end up requiring more builders or something, but you should be okay no matter the solution that you end up taking. As long as you can isolate all of your lemmings between these two trees, victory will be yours, and that meeting will truly be adjourned. I'm kind of interested to see how a lemming meeting will work out. Will they just end up walking past their seats or something, and then it will never end up starting? I'm really not sure. Also, is that supposed to be a lemming head? Because, holy shit, they have fucked up neurons. Alright, you've got your brain over here, which just looks like a whole lot of pipes, and yeah, that's how it goes. So, it's one of those levels where you have to use bombers in order to dig, and at least you have a shitload of blockers in order to mitigate any skill required in order to make it through the walls, but yeah, if you want to save as many people as possible, then going down here is the best way, because then you only have to sacrifice 4 lemmings in order to dig the required tunnels. The only challenge here is making sure that whenever you'll block and blow, you're going to put your lemming at the highest point of the gap that has been dug in order for you to don't dig down too much, which will result in your lemmings just falling down the pit because you'll have dug up way too far down. After making through this part, it's time for a pass-through blocker over here, or I'm gonna try to, because it's always pretty touchy to do, because you literally have to assign a blocker the moment that he falls on the ground in order for the lemmings to fall, and then not clip through the lemming that is currently blocking. And with your 4 builders, it's time to build a ramp that goes all the way to the exit. You need exactly all 4 builders in order to win, and yeah, am I even going to do it here? I have the feeling that I just ended up fucking it up. Nope, we missed. So it's time to restart the level, I think, so yep, you better be careful. It's not really a hard level per se, but that ramp might be hard to properly gauge, especially when you have no margin of error for building your ramp. Just seems that so far the levels in Wild have been more requiring of precision or something than just complex solution finding, because so far none of the levels that we played were especially hard to figure it out, but they've all had some element of precision to them that required you to do one thing in a very precise manner, and then nothing else that really is puzzling for the most part. Also, I don't know, maybe Lemming Head is supposed to be like a soda drink or something, but yeah. It's definitely one that you do not want to take, because that's exactly what you're going to drink. Here's a level that's a little bit more of a puzzle. Just a quickie. Well, it's indeed a quickie. Look at how small this level is. With that said, you have to rescue everyone, so you have to make sure that everything is going to be pulled off perfectly. Unfortunately, you don't have an easy way to send in the Trailblazer in order to do all of your deeds. So instead, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to use a ramp and... oops. And I fucked things up because my ramp is not sealing off everything. So, yep, we failed the level, but... yeah, what you need to do here is just end up building a ramp in order to seal all of your lemmings in the opening point. Then you mine a little bit through the... I'm not even sure what this is supposed to be. It's just like, I don't know, a wooden plastic fence kind of thingy. It's kind of like the crystal web or something in the first game, except it's a whole lot more thick. Okay, let's do this again. Now we're going to start our ramp a little bit late. And now we're going to cover the entire part. Oh, with that said, however, I did not want to have a second lemming come along with me, so... okay, note to self, whenever you... oh no, my ramp is completely sealed off from everything. All because I have 2 lemmings that go along for the ride. And it's a bad idea to have 2 lemmings going along for the ride, so okay. we're gonna build a ramp, we're going to let the first lemming pass by, and then the second one is going to dig. And now nobody is going to come. Here we go, perfect. Now we have one single lemming that's going forward for the ride. You mine a couple of parts here and there in order to be low enough, because if you keep walking up to the left, then you're just going to get too high and you're not going to be able to build a ramp that will lead to the exit. But yeah, it's just a quickie. There's definitely not a whole lot to this level, but you need some good execution once again. It's all about figuring out that one way where everybody will be safely preserved into their opening part of the level without any kind of threat whatsoever, so yeah. I don't know, so far we haven't had really nasty or hard levels yet. With that said, however, this level is kind of on the nasty side, because there is definitely a lot of unpredictability to this one level. You take the high road, 2 groups of lemmings for the price of 1, and each one of them need to get to their exit. And since the release rate is 99, then our lemmings are gonna pour out of the gate really fast. And this is going to make matters really complicated for this first portion of the level, because we have to build over this tiny hole, but yeah, most of the time there's just gonna be a lemming that will fall through because of the timing required in order for you to put the first bit of brick down in order to seal the gap. And once a lemming fall down here, yeah, he's fucked. There's no way for him to get out of here, so if this happens, you have to restart, because there's no way to save this lemming then if it happens. Also, don't ask me why I decided to focus on this one group of lemming which destroy nothing, because all the destruction happened on the upper right corner of the level for sure. So yeah, the beginning part is kind of a pain in the ass, because you might have to restart the level a couple of tries in order to properly assign the builder and make it so that no lemming is going to fall down into this hole. It's pretty annoying, sometimes unfair. It's just you have to make it so that your lemming will be a little more on the right from where you normally start to build, but not too far on the right, so that whenever your lemmings are going to start walking back toward the right, they will fall in the hole, because if this happens, you're also screwed. Also, it's not necessary to have a Trailblazer lemming going on top of the level, because you can just build from the hole here without any kind of consequence whatsoever, so I'm not entirely sure what was the point of it, but hey, it's just another way to do things, I guess. So yeah, it looks like that we're done with the level. Oh no, we're not done yet, we still have one final step, because yeah, believe it or not, your lemmings are going to fall through these fences, because yeah, there's a tiny hole in the chain that you can barely see, but yeah, that's enough for the lemmings to fall down. That's not a glitch with Super Lemony or anything. No matter the version of the game that you'll play, it'll be like this. So yeah, this level has a couple of tricks as you've seen, but in overall, still not very hard. I genuinely believe that for the most part, Wild is mostly easier than Crazy for some reason, but it's got a couple of levels here and there which are much harder. There's gonna be one level in particular later on that's going to be really difficult. And now it's time for It's a Tight Fit. Not really a puzzling level per se, but it's a level that requires you to master the art of multitasking and clicking around a whole bunch, because you have to make all of your 10 lemmings athletes, and at the same time you must also make it so that your lemmings are not going to commit suicide by falling down in the pit over here. And here we go, we are done with this one level. Not too hard now, wasn't it? Or is it? Because yeah, look at our timer, because it's one of those levels where you don't have a whole lot of time, and yep, we failed because we're not going to get there in time. Yep, we're not too impressed with your attempt at that level. Once again, screw you. You're not my mom. So yeah, we have the solution of this level down to a science, but we just need to speed up the execution. So after your second lemming has fallen down, it's time to increase the release rate all the way up to at least 70. Any less than that and you're not going to make it in time. Or you could be daring and you could try 69. Okay, so yeah, once that everybody is an athlete, then it's time to build on our little bridge in order to save all of the lemmings. You have to do it rather low because otherwise your lemmings are just going to get down here too fast and they're going to fall down the pit. But yeah, now that all of our lemmings are much tighter together, yeah, now we can get to the end. Yeah, even with 70 of release rate, we only had 4 seconds left. So yeah, don't dawdle. Also, you have a blocker, but yeah, it's a red herring. Don't use it because you're probably gonna fail the level if you use it. Oh yeah, speaking of red herrings, here's one level that's a giant red herring. Because with the 2 entrances in this level, you probably will think that the upper lemmings are involved in some way in the solution of this level. But no, they're not. They're just here as a distraction in order to make you think that they're relevant to the level in some way. But no, they're not relevant. They're just here in order to make you waste your time and make it so that every time you play this level, you'll have at least 50% of your lemmings saved. But you need all of them, so half of them is definitely not enough. So we have to build our way all the way up here. So the first order of affair is to build a ramp as high as you can get. And since we have the courtesy of having a digger, that's what we're going to use as part of the solution. So once that you built your ramp all the way to the top, you dig a hole in here, you bash, and then you start doing a spiral staircase. That will lead to the cabin at the top by ricocheting against the ceiling that is up here with all of the brown rocks or something. So yeah, this level is more about figuring out what will be the proper route for this one level, because it seems like the designers want you to take a certain way in order to do this level, but the straightforward path is always the best. If anything, this is probably a level that could have fitted well in Crazy, but so far we've kind of established that there's not a huge difference between Crazy and Wild, so we better go along with it. Such as this one level, Higgledy Piggledy. Also, the mere fact of saying this name led me to search it on Google, and wow, that's somehow a real name that exists. Yeah, Higgledy Piggledy is like an adverb that means in confusion or disorder, except that it's written with like a, well, you know, the horizontal bar that links words together. Yeah, I'm kind of bad at saying what it is because, well, I know that like in French it's called a trait d'union, but how do you call that with a, how do you call that in English? A dash? Oh my goodness. Alright, instead of playing Lemmings, let's play pronunciation. Besides, there's not a whole lot to say about this one level. This level is mostly here in order to make you panic, because it's gonna take a while for you to be able to not lose any Lemmings, but you gotta swallow your pride and let something like about 9 or 10 Lemmings fall to their doom while you're preparing the road that leads to the end of the level. And finally, we have 3 pillars to dig through, but we only have 2 bashers, so yep, it's time for the digger to do his job and bash underneath all of the pillars. Yeah, what is it with the levels all of a sudden that are becoming kind of easy? I mean, apart from giving you a good scare with all of the lemmings that are going to fall down their death without any way to save them whatsoever, yeah, this level is kind of easy. I really think for the most part, Wild probably should have come before Crazy, because it's definitely not putting up as big a fight here. I'm kind of disappointed with how that is going right now. To me, Wild is probably the low point of Oh No More Lemmings. These are probably the levels that I like the least for the most part. But at least the second half of Wild is definitely gonna feature a bunch of pretty interesting levels. I really like the layout of this level. Now we have yet another boat level. In the first Lemming, we had like every Lemming for himself, which was a boat-shaped level. And here we even have a flag and a steam whistle. So, pretty cool looking level that we have here. But we're going to play it for the next update. So stay tuned for the next video where we're going to play the rest of the Wild difficulty.